and welcome to the Worcester Senior Center Stay Connected programming on channel 192. My name is Suki Lapin and I am the program coordinator at the Worcester Senior Center. The Worcester Senior Center is offering a variety of programming virtually. You will find our programming on channel 192 for Worcester residents, the Worcester Senior Center Facebook page, the Worcester Senior Center website, and YouTube under Worcester Senior Center Stay Connected. Today, we are fortunate to welcome Richard Spool, Worcester Senior Center participant and QCC adjunct professor of computer literacy, who will teach 3 sessions of Intro to Zoom. A little about our instructor, Richard. Richard has been involved with the computer-related areas since the 1980s. At Data General, he was a computer programmer and designed databases and programs. He then became a computer educator, teaching the sales force and technical staff about new digital products. He taught at Central New England College, Anna Maria, and Mass Bay Community College, and now teaches computer literacy at the Quinsigamond Community College. His focus is how to use technology in your personal and professional lives. Richard has used Zoom as a host since March, when QCC went from face-to-face courses to remote instruction due to the pandemic. You have heard the term and maybe even participated in a Zoom meeting. Now learn the basics to stay in touch with family and friends. Welcome, Richard Spool.
Thank you, Suki. And welcome all of you and our viewing audience. Okay, so we're going to have 3 sessions. The first session today is Introduction to New Zoom Users. We're going to focus in on your being invited to a session and what do you see and what can you do while you're a participant in a session. So, well, again, right now what you're viewing is, I assume you're viewing is a standard screen. You have presumably my picture in the big section, and then you're seeing at the top a list called a gallery, a list of all of our pictures. Let's see, I got 2, 4, 6 of us, and you might see a little blue arrow to the right of our little pictures. Oh. I'm seeing some shaking of heads. Okay. Let me see if I can get us all on the same page.
What view do you want us in?
I'm sorry?
What view do you want us in?
That's what I'm going to point out. If you look in the upper right corner of your screen, you'll see a little button. It doesn't look like a button that says View.
Yes.
Click on that.
Yes.
And right now, mine happens to be on Speaker View. Why don't you all click on Speaker View and see what you do?
I have a choice of 2.
Right, you have Speaker View, Gallery View, and Full Screen.
I see show manage participants and show chat.
How do you find that?
Okay, so good. It is in the upper. I wish I could show my
And me too.
my thing, but I can't. My Zoom screen. If you look in the
everyone
upper right
using-
corner
Yes.
of your Zoom,
Is
You see
everyone
something
using
says view?
PCs?
Well, I clicked on it and I got everybody's picture blown up bigger. And you smaller, Peter.
I'm in gallery view right now, as far as I can tell.
I'm gonna say that, does it?
So audio voice is being heard.
all right. I just clicked to full view. Does anyone have full view on their list?
Oh,
See you full list.
I have a full screen.
Just click on full screen. What I'm seeing right now is the screen. Right now, I happen to be looking at Irma and Norm, but I see a full screen and what they call the gallery view, little pictures of us on the right side. Okay. I don't know how comfortable you are with Windows or with the, I don't know if, does anyone have, besides Suki, have a Apple computer?
Yes.
Okay. I apologize. I'm a Windows person, not an Apple person, but I'm hoping you'll be able to do the same thing. with Windows, you should be able to go to the very top. There's a little blue, black strip on the gallery view, the pictures, and you should be able to put your left button down, hold it down, and you can move the picture all over the place.
Hmm.
Each picture has that little blue button when you hover in that.
Right,
upper
when you
corner.
hover in there, right. But
And
what
so
I'm
you-
looking at is
It's saying
the
right
top
click
of all
on
those
that.
pictures. Look at the top of all those pictures.
Yeah.
There should be a little black topping, which has, I call it the minimize, there's different views, basically. If you go to the very top, and as you move your mouse over those, I'm looking at hide that thumbnail video, show small active speakers. The third one is, I don't know what the third one is. And the last one is show the grid video. There's just different ways of viewing this. And I can drag this as I'm doing. I'm dragging this all over the place. In fact, right now I'm hiding Dan's face underneath this.
I figured out how to do it.
Oh, good. That's part of what we need to do. One of the things I'm big on when I tell my students is by changing a view, you can be more productive. You can see things in a different way, and you want to change the view that makes you feel comfortable in that particular moment. All right. So what I want to do is, Shirley, do you have a question, or just holding your finger to your chin?
No, I'm just appreciating what you're saying, because even though I have a Windows, I still don't get the same thing that you do, but I've got the speaker, the gallery, the release video, and the exit full screen. I get a little different menu, but I'm following.
It might be. And again, what I will do in this next week, besides prep for our next session on next Wednesday, I'll see if I do have a bunch of PDFs. I don't know if you know what a PDF file is, but I found a number of PDF files. By the way, most instructions I find very complicated and either don't cover enough or cover too much. So I've not put together what I feel comfortable with, but I have requested from a couple of colleges. They have some really nice instructions for their students, but I need to get their permission, and I'm still waiting, to share their instructions with all of you. Once I get their permission, Suki will attach those, I'll send it to her, those PDF files, and they'll have graphics, etc., that will explain these things more clearly. And you can use that as a review for what we're talking about. And next week, if those of you who continue next week, if you still have questions about what's going on today, we can start off with that. All right, so what I'd like to do for the rest of this session is talk to you about your screen, and as a participant, what you can do with that screen. So you've logged into your invitation. You're participating in a session. Oh, actually, I forgot. I have a brief presentation to give you an overview of what Zoom is like. And for example, it's different kinds of plans, so you might want to consider in the future what you'd like to do. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen and start off with a PowerPoint presentation. That's this. So I'm just going to, what you can, I clicked on my share screen. I'm a co-host, so I have that capability. I'm going to share my screen with you. Right now it's the general screen, and I should have had this set up.
Mhm.
I think this is it. Nope, there it is. Suki, I should have had this set up already. My mistake. I told you, but I forgot to take my own words of advice. Okay.
That's a nice size print.
Okay.
Really read that.
Okay. I teach computer literacy, including Office, including PowerPoint, and I tell people, as an old guy, even as a young person, you need, the whole purpose is make sure your audience sees it. Okay, so here is my presentation. It'll take a few minutes. We'll give you a nice overview. So we have 3 sessions. Today's the intro to new Zoom meeting, new Zoom users. Give me a second. Next week is creating and using a Zoom account. Third week is hosting a meeting. So I'll talk about the features and functions of Zoom related to each of those. But today we're going to focus in on, there it goes. My window is very slow. So today we're talking about being a new user. So just a little video conferencing. Actually, video conferencing has been around for quite a few years. I was alive, but I didn't go to the World's Fair in New York in 1968. But that was for the first time AT&T had a picture phone. And if you look down in a little corner, you'll see here's a little picture of someone from a distance. They're talking, in effect, video conferencing. Unfortunately, back then, in order to host one of these things, to have one of these things in your business, very expensive, clunky, and difficult to set up. It initially took $250,000 if you wanted to set up a one-on-one video conferencing. Very few people did. It dropped down to $80,000. All digital, all computer things, related things seem to drop in prices. But now we're down. Back in the 90s, it was $20,000. Again, some big companies had it, but most people did not. But there are certain features that video conferencing provided that was really useful for, when you think about if you have a business and you had meetings across the country or across the world, it's a lot less expensive doing a video conferencing than it is to have everyone fly into one location and house them and so forth. So these are some of the kinds of things we're going to talk about today. This Zoom has this, and these are the features that were very valued in video conferencing. Some of the examples are Zoom, Skype, GoToMeeting, WebEx. I've used all of those. Zoom is the latest one that I've used, and I found it to be the handiest one. But they're all good. They're all good products. They all have some bells and whistles that other ones do not have, but they all pretty much do the same kind of thing. Since the pandemic, Zoom and all the other ones, there have been a major increase in use of these things, both professionally and personally. As you can see, they're used for work, education, and especially social relations. We used to use Skype a lot, but that meant each person had to go through a little process. I don't know if you ever used Skype, but it's like a phone call with video where it would be free, but you had to make sure the other person had a Skype account. Zoom is different. Now, Zoom came out in 2013. In fact, January. In fact, at our last session, it'll be a whole 8 years old. But today, it's considered the most popular conferencing software in the world. It's the 5th most downloaded mobile app in the world. Now, think about China and India in particular. Those two countries have a huge number of people. Many of their applications are in different languages from India or China, yet this Zoom is now the 5th biggest one in 2020 that has ever been downloaded. So one day in March, that's how many accounts were created. One day in April, 300,000 people, 300 million people that day were participating. That's huge numbers of people. And those of us who've used Zoom know that the problem is not with Zoom. If we have any problem, it's typically, there are a lot of people using it. And in my case, it's Charter or Spectrum now. However, whatever system is hosting your internet, that's the thing that might slow down Zoom. Zoom is really powerful. Okay, Zoom has 4 plans. The 2 on the right are things that you and I will not use. They're pretty much for businesses. The ones on the left are the ones that we will be focusing briefly on. So the personal meeting plan, the best thing about it is free. There's also, you don't have a trial period. You can use it for free for the rest of your life. Some places have a trial period for a month or so. You give them a credit card, and after the month, they'll automatically start charging you. Not so with Zoom. You don't even have to give them a credit card. There's no limit on the number of meetings that you host per year, per day. Host as many as you want. There is a limit though. Here's the limit for the free. Oh, not this one. If you have a one-on-one meeting, just you and one other person, there you can have as many of those meetings you want, and it's a 24-hour time limit. Basically, that I don't know about you, but that's more than enough for any one-on-one meeting. However, you can have up to 100 people, but that session is limited to 40 minutes. It's free, but you got to plan on not more than 40 minutes in your conversation. So if you're having a group meeting with a bunch of relatives and you think it might go over 40 minutes, which with my relatives is not uncommon, what you can do if you want is schedule 2 or 3 meetings to start back to back. And once your 40 minutes is out, what Zoom does, it'll give you a warning saying that in 2 minutes, Zoom will close or whatever. But what you can do is say, let's close this meeting and start the next one and continue from there. So you can have sequential meetings to make up for not going more than 40 minutes. But again, for free, it's really a good plan. All right. So, come on, there we go. Okay, the pro meeting costs you $150 a year. No limit on the meetings, just like before. You can host up to 100 people like you did before, except that 30 hours. You got more than enough time to do whatever you need to do. So if you want to be on for 4 or 5 hours, not a problem. They also provide cloud storage. Cloud simply means that there's no such thing as real clouds. It's a cloud storage or cloud whatever simply means that there are computers stored around the world that will store the stuff for you. So, and they're backed up and they've done a really good job. This session, for example, is being recorded into the cloud. That means Zoom is hosting this session, not hosting, is storing the recording, which gets very sizable when you think about a 45-minute recording, and making it available to the host, who then can share that with whomever. It's a very useful thing. Now, this is what I personally recommend. Start with the personal one, the free one, okay? If you cannot live, if you can live with the 40 minutes, stay with it. It's perfectly fine. If not, and you want Zoom for social calls, just keep in mind that you only need one person who pays the $150 a year. You don't need everyone to pay $150. That person then could act as the host and plan the group meetings for the family or friends that you want to talk to on a regular basis. I have a link on here. I'll be happy to, this link, and I'll show you. This is a live link, and I'll share this data with you later. But that link will take you to a Zoom session, which gives you a listing of the 4 plans. And you can go into any one of these 4 plans and sign up for them. We'll be talking next class about signing up for the free one. We're not going to have you buy these things. That's up to your own. All right, so let me go back to my PowerPoint. And that's it for this little presentation. I want to get you an idea about how popular Zoom was, how reasonable it is, and the free one, even the free account that you sign up where you can be a host, which we'll be using next class. Very, very useful. The only serious limitation is the 40 minutes. But if you can live with that, you got a nice program going.
Richard?
Yes.
Um,
I'm gonna stop sharing so we go back to our regular session. Yes, Dan.
Question about the 40 minutes. Does that apply when it's just a one-on-one
No.
conversation?
One-on-one. So if you and I were, you were calling me up or I was calling, I invited you to a one-on-one session or you invited me to a one-on-one session. No one else was there. So the participants show as 2, not as more than that. We can talk as long as we want.
That's the 24-hour?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know about you, Dan, but
But as soon as it goes to more than 2 people, then the 40 minutes kicks in?
Correct. And remember, you're one of the 2 people. So if you invite 2 other people, that makes 3, and therefore 40 minutes starts.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And again, next class, we'll talk about creating, creating a meeting. We can create meetings, and you'll actually create a meeting, and then you can just delete those meetings. Any other questions? Anyone?
I don't want to hog things, but I do have one more question.
Keep going as long.
In terms of the test meeting, I thought that I could try out a lot of the features using that, but and I broke from it briefly when I came back and logged into what I thought was going to be the test meeting. There was Suki, so I'm not sure if I've lost that ability.
I think what you did, right. Okay, so let me explain for the audience. Again, you guys got an invitation, which I had modified, which included not a typical invitation, because I really want to make sure you had a lot of background stuff. In my invitation, I had a link to Zoom that has a test meeting where you click on that and you go into this practice shell that Zoom is set up for anyone. You're the only one there, but you can do all sorts of stuff and get comfortable with the screen. And screw it up all you want, because it's just a practice, okay? What I'm guessing, Dan, that you did is after you came back, you clicked on the normal Zoom invitation, like the one you got now, instead of the test one.
I never got to plug in the password.
Yeah, right. The test one doesn't have a password. All right, but ours does.
Well, I didn't need to use the password.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if Zoom sometimes, it depends on our settings. Sometimes Zoom requires you to put in the password. Sometimes it doesn't. As a host, and I'll explain this, you'll have an option whether to have a password or not. Okay, they've come up with a password.
I got one other question.
Sure. And anyone else, please interrupt Dan. Anyone?
Yeah, please. But this is kind of a biggie for me, because I think on both the Zoom support pages and Apple's support pages, I could not figure out how to see a normal left to right image. It's showing everything as though I was looking into a mirror. And I think that's what people see also. If I were to hold something up to the screen, it's going to look like it was in a mirror rather than normally being able to read it easily. And I'd like to be able to, in future sessions, not necessarily here, but be able to hold a product up or a page and have people be able to see that normally rather than having it reversed.
Oh,
Okay, I'm going to hold up something right now. I'm going to put it I should, wait a minute, let me get. So I'm going to hold up this.
Yeah, I can see that
And
fine.
you can see that it is remote. Why? I don't know. I never thought about that.
Well, when I
No,
was
I have the
doing-
same thing. I'm right now, if you look at it, it is a mirror image of my text.
when I hold this up, I see in my little preview screen, I'm seeing the mirror image like I was holding up in a mirror. Are people
However,
seeing that?
I'm seeing it real.
Okay, you see it.
I see a
from the left.
Lowe's pick ticket,
Okay,
not backwards.
all right. What
But
was
you're right.
the,
I guess what we're doing is, and I never noticed this before. My students, on occasion I hold a sign up for them to look at. I talk about some things. They never said anything to me, and I didn't realize until now, thank you, Dad, that what we see is the mirror image. What everyone else sees is the normal
Real
image.
thing, yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
very cool.
Okay. Does that help?
Yes,
So I don't know about you. I can live with not, I had that picture.
that way I'm not going to get vertigo and fall out of my chair either. So that,
No. Okay. Any other questions for the moment?
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the buttons at the bottom of your screens. So right now, as far as I know, all of us there's 2 buttons, a mute and a stop video in the lower left corner.
Mhm.
All right, so would like you just to click on the mute button. I'm not going to do it because I want you to hear me. So click on the mute button. You might notice that there is a slash through it now. And if you guys talk, I won't hear, none of us will hear anything except for you guys. You'll hear yourselves, but that was it. Guys talk. Good. I'm seeing Dan's mouth move, but I'm not hearing anything. My wife wished she had that mute button for me occasionally, but that's another story.
I found the mute button in the upper right of my my window
You have a Macintosh?
for the Mac. Yeah.
Right. And again, I apologize. I don't know the Mac, so I can't deal with it. But here's what that's useful for. I've been fortunate because I am the presenter. I need not to be on mute. When I join I go to, you guys all familiar with WISE, the WISE program at Assumption University? They're wonderful. All their classes now are on Zoom. They have 40, 50, 60 people joining in on a class. And they request that we be on mute because even if we're mumbling in the background or a phone ring, a dog barks, any noise in the background, everyone hears it and it distracts. So in a large group, you might want to ask people to put them on mute. As a host, and I'll talk about this in the last class, you have the capability of muting everybody. They can unmute themselves, but you have the capability of muting everyone. And Dan, just to let you know, I'm also a big questioner in my sessions. But if I really got angry with you and I didn't want you, I could actually mute you forever, mute you for the session as a host or co-host in my case. But I'm not going to do that. Okay. But those are the things we'll talk about in the last session as a host. And often you can even set up, in the second session, we'll talk about creating an invitation. When you send out an invitation, you could have it automatically that the people coming in are muted. You may have encountered that before when you start up muted or not. For this session, Suki and I were going through the invites. We decided, no, we want you to be we want the video to be on. We want you not to be muted, and you can choose to mute or not mute. You might want to make a note of this because I don't see this too often. When you are muted, a little sign will come up on the screen, at least it does on mine, that says you're muted. And if you cough or something, the screen comes up. It's amazing. This little message comes up. But if you want to temporarily unmute yourself, besides going to that mute button and clicking a second time to turn on the microphone, you can just hold down your space bar. Keep holding it down, and that will temporarily unmute you, and then you can let go of the space bar, and you're back to mute. That's a little trick that I'd use occasionally when I have a quick question to ask. Okay, questions on muting. That little drop-down list to the right of the microphone gives you an option, if you have multiple microphones, gives you an option to change which microphone you want to speak through. So if you had a headset, or you have, like I have, a camera, I have a video camera that has a built-in microphone, or your computer has a microphone, you might have some options. And quite frankly, if someone starts complaining they can't understand you or whatever it is, you might at that point think about switching to a different microphone.
Where should we be seeing the microphone thing?
So do you see where it says mute in the lower left corner?
Yes.
There's a little arrow, an up arrow.
Yeah.
Click on that.
Wow.
And there's a list of all possible microphones that are on your computer. We're all different. I mean, it depends on your setup. The computer will choose the default setting. You can change that anytime you want to. Okay. And that's useful again, if you're the other people in your session, your meeting is having problems understanding you. I don't know about you, but sometimes it sounds like someone's underwater, that bubbly voice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ask them to switch to a different microphone if they have that option. And quite frankly, most of the time it's fine. I mean, I'm assuming you all can hear me fairly well, but you know what? If you have a headset with a specialized, spend a few bucks, not that expensive, but $20, $30, you can get a really nice headset where you can hear without outside noise, and you can speak with reducing the interference from outside noise because the mic is right at your mouth. It might be worthwhile if you're going to be doing this on a regular basis. I would say go to a store to try it out, but not right now. Okay, that's the first button. The second one is video. Click on video. Click on the stop video. In fact, I'm going to do that. And right now, just my name shows up. You can have I'm going to, yep, I see Dan's did that. I'm going to turn it back on right now. Click it a second time. And one of the things that you can do, and I'll show you how to do that, is if you have a picture of yourself, or I joked around once in a class, I got a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger in his younger days, doing that. So you can have not just your name show up, but you can have a picture of you or something, maybe your favorite dog, or maybe a cartoon, whatever it is, show up. So it's not just a black screen with whatever name you have, but whatever. And I'll show you how to do that if you want to later.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone make sure, I see Shirley is also on. Everyone, if you can make sure that you're back on video if you want. Good, see some of you coming back. I just want to show you, this is what I tend to do. This is the only reason I would recommend you turning the video on. Well, two reasons. The main reason is video takes what is called a lot of bandwidth. If you've ever been watching a movie and all of a sudden it stops and you see a little waiting to download something, that means the movie is being seen, it's called streaming, being seen as you are watching, and stuff is being downloaded for the next scenes being stored and queued up to be presented to you. But every once in a while, the whole system, the whole internet system that is sending this slows down. So in, for example, when I go to WISE classes, which start up next month, and Dan is doing a background. I'll be talking about that in a second. If you're going to a WISE class and there's 50, 60 people, what's nice is if you turn off your video, there's less interruption because there's less need of things. For small groups like this, leave the video on. It's nice to see people's faces. Okay. But if you're in a large group of people and they're all spread out all over the place and you're seeing Zoom slow down, again, it's not Zoom's fault, it's the internet and your provider, your internet provider's fault in trying to get this thing going. Questions on that? So again, generally when I go to a meeting that's large, I have video and audio off. I turn audio on when I want to ask a question. I'll show you some other options since they can't see me raising my hand or anything. I'll show you how you can raise your hand digitally in a second. If you have more than one camera, I've never done this, I only have one camera, that little arrow list to the right of video, stop video in this case, gives you, again, an option if you had different cameras going to choose a different one, okay? But mostly you're going to turn it off or leave it on like how we're doing this session, okay? I'll skip over security for the moment. I'm going from left to right on that little list of buttons at the bottom. Click on the participants button. So here you have a list of participants, all of us. Typically you have the host, and I see I'm up towards the top. Your name may be at the top of your list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then it would be the host. Okay. So my list, I have me and then Suki and Shirley and Dan. And I don't know if this is in chronological order of who's signed up or who came in, but it's there. Okay. And you can see, I'm looking, the symbols I see, I see by my name and Suki's name, there's a little cloud with a real red dot in there. That is a reminder that we as the hosts are recording this session. I am seeing by my name a little microphone. I see Suki's turned off her microphone. You can see it's in red by Suki's name and slash through it. But by mine, my microphone is black and going up and down saying, hey, I'm talking. So if you want to say who's talking, you can see it on that list.
What about the colors?
I'm sorry?
What about the colors? Like this aqua, then there's blue, and then there's yellow, and then this by each person.
You mean on the left side?
Yes. Right in front
That's a
of
good
people's
question.
names.
I can see RS, SL, ask for Shirley and so forth. Good question. I have no idea
Okay.
what the colors are. I've never thought about that. I learned a long time ago, one of the best things about teaching is how much we teachers learn from the questions students ask. Things that we assume and don't pay attention to, you guys do. I'll try to look that up. And Suki, if you can remind me in case I forget.
Do we all
I'll
have
try
the
to
same
look up that.
colors?
I'm sorry.
Do we
what?
all see this? Do we all see the same colors, or is that just arbitrary for the session?
I don't know. But
Mine is mine is kind of a
little-
mustard.
I'm good at Googling. Dan, so
Mine looks like Golden's mustard.
I'm in Worcester, so I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so on my button, by the way, on my screen, I'm assuming you do not have this because you're not a host. I have a button on the participants window at the bottom that says mute all. And I'm going to do that in this. I see some of you are still muted. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to mute all.
On ours, it says invite, and then on to the right, it says mute me.
Mute me, right? You can mute yourself.
Yeah.
I have the right. I'm going to do it right now. And I'm going to allow you to unmute. I have the choice of not allowing you to mute yourselves, but I'm going to allow that. I'm just muted you all. And I see on my screen, you should see this, except for me, all of them have the little red slash by your name of the participants. You guys can go ahead, you'll stay muted or not. Okay. Okay. I also had the option, I could keep you all muted. Don't let you have a control over it. But if I see someone asking a question, I can unmute you temporarily. This is useful in very large groups. Definitely not useful in a family situation or friends. But I just want you to know.
You don't know my
what
sister.
ability is. And we'll talk more about the host in the next class. I should really focus on that. Okay,
Hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I hear you.
Yes.
You do? Okay, well, I, for some reason, got knocked off. When I say got knocked off, I lost,
Meeting.
knocked off this meeting, and I had to come back through the email that was sent from to get back on again.
Yeah. When I teach at Quinsigamond this past semester,
I don't know why that happens. It has
I'll tell
happened
you.
before for me.
I can tell you
too,
some, I don't
with
know your
other-
specific situation, but I had students who had problems with their Wi-Fi, problems with their internet connections on their computers, and it would fade out and just basically
It just lost again.
call them out, and they would do what you
I
just
think
did, just come back
My
in.
computer.
So I don't know if that's going to be an issue. If you find this, again, video takes a lot of bandwidth. If you find
And
that your
looking
system
again.
is too slow, you can pay more and have it faster. Don't do that yet. Again, if we're a small group, and if you're having this problem with small groups, like if you meeting with a couple of friends or family members, and you're talking, and this happens to you in like 3-4 people participating, then I recommend that you might want to think about having someone look into your account, your internet account.
May I make
I
a
wanna-
suggestion?
Yes.
Yeah, if people are using Wi-Fi, that might be the limitation rather than their internet bandwidth. So
Right,
you
right.
get closer to your router or look for a wired connection, a direct Ethernet connection to your router from your computer. That might help if you're having that kind of what seems to be a bandwidth problem that knocks you off.
Right.
Thank
The
you, Dan.
Wi-Fi is very convenient, but it's an in between your regular internet, and that adds an extra layer and degrading of the interception from your, in my case, again, Spectrum. It's in Worcester we have Spectrum as one of the options for the internet. I think it's the only option for the internet, and that slows down. Dan, you're right. I have my computer directly connected to my internet modem, so that my computer, which is a desktop, doesn't have that extra level of degrading. I do have in fact, you can almost see a little black thing up, not the big black thing, but the small one near the door is my Wi-Fi, and it's wired behind the bookcases into my this is called a Wi-Fi modem. That's the thing that communicates back and forth. Modem means modulate, demodulates, but don't worry about that. That then sends a signal out to any device that could log on to my Wi-Fi connection. But that's connected directly, wired to my, down there, to my internet modem that is connected to the cabling to the main company.
I have a question because I was wondering what would happen if I clicked on invite. You know, one side says mute me and the other side says invite.
So you have the right, and I'd be very cautious about this. A host has the right to allow you to invite other people that the host has not invited to these sessions. So you can, I've never done this, but you can click on invite, and I presume you can then click on an email address and it would send out the invitation to someone else. Okay. So for example, if you're having a social thing and you realize, oh, Mary should join us, I think she'd really love this. Personally, I would say, guys, would you mind if I invite Mary over to our session? And if they, the host says yes, you can then, because you know Mary's email address and the others don't, you can then invite Mary. And that's convenient. I've never done that because I've always invited people I want to speak with. But that's something that you have that capability if the host allows you to do that. But I think as a courtesy, you should always ask the host, is okay, someone else joins the host's meeting. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, let me see if anything else. Yep. Okay, one of the things that we did not do that I should talk to you about is what is called a waiting. You know what? I'll hold off on a waiting room till next class. That's when you're sending up an invitation. Do you want someone to wait to be wait for the session that you have to be invited in by the host directly? We chose to not have that. So as soon as you signed in, bang, you were into our session. A waiting room is useful. I stopped using a waiting room, quite frankly, but I'm sure there's some reasons for having a waiting room. We'll talk about that next class. I'm going to close out my Oh, there's one other thing under participants. If you're on the participants list and you go to more, oh, no, that's on chat. I'm sorry, I'm thinking chat. Excuse me. Let's all close. I'm going to close out my participants list, and I want to go over to chat. All right. So I'm going to click on chat. That brings up another little window. And so far, I guess no one's chatted yet. But you see at the bottom of your chat screen where it says to, it defaults to everyone. What I'd like you all to do right now is click on where it says type message here. I see yoo-hoo from Dan. Everyone just say something like, hi, I'm Richard, or something like that. And press enter when you're finished. So go ahead and do that, guys. Because I want to show, if right now we're all showing it to everybody. No, you don't, Dan, you didn't have to say that again. Could have said Dan, but okay, you're cute. All right. So if you want to have a private chat, and Kathy, I'm going to choose you. If you click where it says everyone at the bottom, you get a list of every person there. And I'm going to choose, where's Kathy on this list here? Oops. Well, I'm going to choose somebody up. I got Irma and Norm. I'm going to send a message say, hi, Irma and Norm. And I'm going to press enter. And the only one who sees that is Norma and Irma and Norm.
It's okay. It
You
happens.
guys did see my little hi, right? On the chat?
Yeah, we see.
Okay, no one else can see that but you and I. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to send a hello to someone else as a private chat, just to practice, but I want to show you a trick. I've already mentioned that you can click on that to section and pick someone, but if you see someone above in the chat section, you can see, for example, I see from Kathy to everybody, hi, I'm Kathy. no apostrophe, Kathy. Good thing I'm not an English teacher. I'm going to click on Kathy's name, and that automatically puts Kathy's name down in the to section. And I'm going to say, forgot the, God, I was going to say apostrophe. How do you spell that? A-P-O-S apostrophe. I have no idea. But Kathy got that. So if I wanted it, if I'm saying it out loud, but if I wanted her to know about this privately, I could do that.
I'm only allowed to send private messages to you and Suki.
You should be able to send it. Do you see a list of everyone else there?
Yes, I do, but there are no active options when I click on Kathy in this particular case. I see a Kathy to everyone. Underneath it's, hi, I'm Kathy.
Right, in that list. But see the word Kathy is sort of like in blue? From Kathy is in blue?
It's saying, no, it's Kathy to everyone. Everyone is in blue. If I look at my own, let me find me to everyone. No, it's blue, but it's not an active link. It's just
okay.
It's
Dan, do me a favor. We're running out of time. Stay on, don't leave, and we'll talk about sharing your screen. And I'll look at your. Well, I can't see the trouble is I can't see your screen, so I'm not sure if I can help you. But we'll talk about this. Is anyone else having the same problems Dan is, where you can't send to anyone else?
Yes, I can't see anybody either except for the hosts.
Really?
Yeah. Are you on a Mac also?
No, I'm on no Windows.
Now that little window of chat, you can expand it. I'm maximizing it where I don't see anything but the chat right now. I see I mean, maybe because I'm a host. I don't know. I'm going to close out.
I can enlarge it also.
But does that help you with under the two?
I don't have more options. Underneath the bottom, I've got a to everyone. And if I click on that, that is live, and it gives me the choice between Richard.
Oh, and then it might be that might be a Mac issue. I was afraid you couldn't get that choice. Okay.
But Mel had that same issue.
No, I have that same problem.
Okay. So
I see
Suki, again,
everyone.
I hope you're taking notes from me. This is another thing for me to look at. What are the colors when we're in the participants? What are the box colors with our initials mean? And if anything, and on the chat, if you can remind me, Suki, after the meeting, I'll look it up and get back to you all at our next class. Okay.
Very good.
All right. So let's close out. I mean, that's pretty. Oh, I want to show you one cute trick.
I don't know.
I'm going to send a message. I want you to watch it. I'm going to send a message to everybody. This is the first line. Now, I just sent that out to everybody.
Yep.
I'm going to type in to everybody. This is the second line. And notice that, at least in mine, do you guys see that one underneath the other, the two?
Yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes I found that when I'm in a group and I make a comment, and then a few minutes later I make another comment, they're squashed together. It seems like from the same thing.
Huh.
So here's a trick I just discovered by accident. I've not seen this written down anywhere. I'm sure it is, but I haven't seen it.
No.
If you want to space it out, like I'm going to do a third line, but you want to space it out, first hold the shift key down and press enter. Then type in, I'm going to type in this is the third line, and look how it appears. See that little blank space between?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just found that very useful so that someone could see that I've added something new to my comments. Now, if someone else makes a chat in between, no problem. Your next chat is a whole separate item.
They came out just in the same order. I don't see any distinction between the second and third line.
Same with mine.
Oh, you don't?
Oh.
I do, so I guess maybe I was assuming you all did. Thank you.
So Suki and I are on Macs.
Okay. Okay. Well,
It's kind of interesting, that feedback for Zoom, that they're making these platforms so different. That really makes the sessions a lot harder to navigate.
oh, so none of you are on a smartphone or a tablet like an iPhone, iPad.
Chromebook.
the screens are smaller, therefore it looks different. Instructions are a real pain. I mean, I have that problem. I'm
have two
fortunate enough when I
displays
teach it with
also.
Sigmund. They're all on laptops or desktops, but they could, again, be on Apple computers, etc. And that's always been a problem. But it's even worse here. You're going to have to play around. If you can do Zoom on your phone, so you can just see someone like Skype. You can do Zoom on a tablet, like if you're away. Yes, go ahead, Norm. Shirley, Irma.
That's okay. When you chat, does it automatically go through, or do you have to hit something to make it happen?
So you type whatever you want in there.
And
Nothing shows up in the chat line publicly or, to everybody or an individual until you press enter.
You do press enter.
You have to press enter. That says I'm sending it, which also means you can just, hit backspace and delete everything.
Do you press enter on the computer or somewhere on the screen?
No, the computer.
On the computer.
So if you're typing it out on your keyboard, you press enter. If you're
Okay.
touching it on an iPad or something, it doesn't have a keyboard, there's still an enter or return that you can press.
Okay, thank you.
That way, thank you for bringing that up. That way you don't send anything unless you want to.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So you can, I started some comments and someone answers that, or I have a question and someone answers it while I'm typing it. I just delete it. Okay. So I don't have to enter it. All right. I'm going to talk about share screen next time. I think I'm going to end with two things. One is, you see, I'm in my main window right now. Do you see where it says reactions?
Yes.
On the bottom of your screen,
Yeah.
click on that, and they're called emojis. You have, different kind of symbols up there.
That's what Mel has up there.
Yeah, Dan has a heart. Yeah.
Ah.
So, just if you want to express yourself.
I had
Dan,
a
did you
halo,
take
but I
yours
lost it.
off. I see Shirley has her happy birthday. So a lot of times that's very useful if can you hear me, and you're mute on there, you can use that symbol. And I'll just use the,
Can you apply a reaction to someone else's window?
right. I don't use them too much because frankly, I'm a talker. Yes, that's a shock. I'm a talker, and I'd rather tell someone via the chat privately or publicly, my things. All right. The only thing left, and this will end our session. I'm not going to press it, but you see in the lower right corner is a leave button in red. Okay. When you're ready to leave, the host could close out the session. The 40 minutes, and there'll be warnings popping up on all of our screens saying that we have X number of minutes left. But if you're on that free one and the 40 minutes is approaching, it will shut everybody off, including the host. If you need to leave before the meeting's over, or the meeting's over, you just want to leave, you can go ahead and click that red button. It'll give you are you really sure you want to leave the meeting kind of message, a warning. So if you accidentally hit it, you don't have to automatically get out. That's the last thing I'm going to talk about as a participant. You can leave anytime you want to. As long as the session's going, you can come back in. Yes, question?
Hi, I'm sorry, I got my time screwed up, so I missed it. Is there a review of this somewhere that I can look up?
Sure. Suki, you want to answer that?
Hi, Irene, it's Suki. How are you?
I'm good, honey, I'm good.
Great. Okay, so this will be recorded. This is being recorded, so you will be able to watch it on channel 192 shortly.
Can you
Oh,
put
the
that,
whole thing will be on 192?
Yes, it will.
Okay,
All three
great.
sessions will be altered.
can you migrate that over to the YouTube or Facebook?
we will.
Because there are a lot of people that are members that aren't in Worcester. And
Yes, we
192
will.
is specific for Worcester.
That's true. It's the
Yes,
cable
we will.
company 192.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying 192 or on YouTube?
Yes.
So how
I'm
would
sure
I get
Suki
onto
will send out
YouTube?
information once it's been set up. Suki can send out information.
I'll send it to you, Irene.
Thank you.
To all of us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So any final questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
My
Richard.
pleasure.
I want to thank all of you for participating today. We are all lifelong learners.
Yeah.
And Worcester seniors, if you need any assistance, please call the Worcester Senior Center at 508-799-1232. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and stay connected by watching the Worcester Senior Center Stay Connected programming on Channel 192.